It's time for a little comedy, a little content, and a lot of conversation. It's the Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube. Now here's your host, Geno Jones.
Hey, it's showtime. What's happening, everybody? What's happening, everybody? Hey, it's me. It's the Geno Jones Show. I guess you said, hey, sir, we can read. We can see that sign. Big-ass sign. Stevie Wonder could see that sign, right? So I'll come to you live Monday through Friday. 6:30 p.m. Eastern. I need you to do me a favor. I need you to tell everybody, or as my good man Nelly would say, tell everybody you know, to subscribe, share. You can screen grab it, create a viral moment, put it here on YouTube on the shorts. You can put it up on TikTok for me. You can put it up even on Twitter, now formerly known as Twitter, X, even though, you know, Mr. Elon Musk, you know, problematic, racist. But nonetheless, what the heck? Are we going to use the platform is there? We use it for good, to fight the racism and evil. So, subscribe, share, screen grab. Like I said, create a viral moment. TikTok, Twitter, or X, or Instagram, YouTube, Snapchat, TikTok, whatever your Facebook, whatever your preference is. Text it, copy and paste the link, text it, email it. Hell, send it by carrier pigeon if you can. Don't matter to me. Just make it go viral because it is. Simply the best. Tina Turner had a song back in the day called Simply the Best. Say less. So thank you for watching. And if you miss me live, you can always watch all my back episodes. You can binge watch it like you're watching Netflix or something on Hulu or what? Instagram, not Instagram, Netflix or Amazon Prime or Hulu, or Paramount Plus, all these different, they got all these different streaming services. It's right here on YouTube. The Geno Jones Show YouTube channel. I have two dynamic guests that I'm going to bring on. I'm excited. Yes, officially Black History Month, officially, technically, which began in the early 1900s here in America. It was like Negro History Week, Carter G. Woodson. Then it became Black History Month. Now here on the Geno Jones Show, Black History is every day. Not just one day, not just 1 week, not just 1 month. It's every day, right? Now, I want to encourage everyone to do this because, you know, we're living in an era where people literally, moms of liberty, they want to ban books, especially that teach the truth about the contributions by Black Americans, that teach the truth about American history and its foundations, its foundational ideology of racism. This whole concept, this made-up construct, because race is really, it's made up, it's a construction, it's like an idea. They came up with this construct, created a system called race based on the pigmentation of your skin. Look, I've had that monologue so many times, I'm not going to do it to you today. But it's important that we teach the truth. Because, like I said, you got these MAGA organizations, Moms for Liberty, and a whole lot more. They don't want the truth to be taught. And then they'll try to disguise it. Well, you know, some of these books are pornographic, and they talk about teenagers and homosexuality and this and that. It's like, don't let people, what they call gaslight. Don't let people, now what does gaslight mean? Gaslight, for those who know, gaslight means basically telling you that you're doing something that they are engaging in. Or like playing around. Some people say, don't play in my face. Don't play with me. They're trying to play with you. They're trying to play with your mind. They're trying to play in your face. The things that they are accusing our culture and our community doing are the things that they continue to do to this day. So it's so important. We can't depend on schools to teach the truth about not just Black history, but American history. We, parents and grandparents and aunts and uncles, it's up to us. It's up to us to teach these things ourselves. I remember when I was a kid, I think I got my first set of encyclopedias. I was like six or seven, my mother said. And then when I went, going into, I think, well, okay, I was in 8th grade. Now, remember now, just before I went to high school. I got a brand new set. So when I was about 6 or 7, she got me these red encyclopedias, World Book Encyclopedia. And then by the time I hit 8th grade, right before I went to high school, she got me a set of Encyclopedia Britannica encyclopedias. Those were like white, like a cream color, then they had like some orange and brown in them. So it is up to us to build our own libraries and make sure that our children and grandchildren and nieces and nephews, we got to teach them the truth, because these schools, for a lot of different reasons, they have a different agenda. They don't want our kids to know the truth. They don't want their kids to know the truth. And they'll say, well, we don't want little white Johnny to feel bad about himself. Why is teaching him the truth? Teaching him the truth is not going to make him feel bad about himself. Hopefully it will bring out a sense of his compassion, a sense of his or her empathy, a sense of his or her humanity, to look at what was done not by little Johnny, but by little Johnny's great-grandfather and great-grandmother. So little Johnny will not make that same mistake. And little Johnny won't see little Rashid as other than or less than, but will see little Rashid's or little Tamika's humanity, to see who they are as a person, not who they are as some made up racial construct based on their skin color. See beyond, yes, recognize the skin color and recognize the bias that has been ingrained into their DNA, and to dispute it and realize the truth, and not believe the lies and the misconceptions about, being taught that, everything black is inferior. I digress, because I'm not going to do the long form monologue on that, but it's so important that we make Black History month. We make Black history every day, because Black history is American history, and people don't want you to know the truth, because when it comes down to America, you can always follow the money. At the end of the day, I guarantee you, if it has anything to do with power and money, whatever's going on, whatever the fight is, listen, the whole America's economic foundation was built on a system to where a whole race of people, first you had a whole race that was basically killed off. You had a whole race of people that were victims of genocide, the Native Americans, stole their land, and then a whole nother race of people based on their skin color, because they made up this system. Those who were in power in Europe came up with this whole concept and construct of race. So let's go and get these West Africans who know how to farm and how to grow plants and rice and so many other things, and that have certain skills that we don't have. Let's bring them here. Let's make them work for free to generate wealth just for a small handful, because the majority of the poor and working class Europeans that came here, they didn't have the money. They couldn't buy slaves. That's a whole different conversation that I've had on the show before. So it's so important that we make sure that our culture, our community, our young people, and not so young, some of these old rusty ass people need to know the truth, because they're walking around with a sense of anti-blackness. All skin folk ain't kinfolk. Hello, Tim Scott. I'm voting for Donald Trump because Donald Trump is our Lord and Savior. Kind of paraphrasing. That was the energy. So let me just say this. Speaking of reading, I got to shout out to Brother Clay Kane. He's a personality on Sirius XM Urban View. That's one of the channels on Sirius XM. A brilliant brother. He's got a brand new book that was in stores out on Tuesday. It's called The Grift. Basically talking about how the modern day, really, it's no longer a Republican Party. It's a cult. It's a MAGA cult. But he talks about, at the end of the day, a lot of this racism and a lot of these folks is on this MAGA train and trying to scare white people in general, especially white suburban moms and just white folks in general, that, oh, you got those brown folks invaders. It's an invasion at the southern border. But they don't talk about all these companies that hiring these people that are coming across the southern border, because they don't have to worry about them forming a union. They don't have to pay them minimum wage. They don't have to worry about giving them any benefits. That's a whole nother conversation. So shout out to Clay Kane. It's called The Grift. And at the end of the day, I'm just going to, this is one of the general messages, and I've talked about it on this show. Hatred, you got to understand, racism, white nationalism, sexism, misogyny is big business. And it always has been. And there's always been a handful of people that have used race, racism, and sexism, and misogyny, and homophobia, and Islamophobia, and fear of the other to scare other folks, so they'll go out and spend billions of dollars buying AR-15s and assault weapons and just an arsenal of guns and bullets, because they got to worry about those brown people are coming across the southern border, or oh my God, some dangerous black man might come in your neighborhood and he might defile your poor young white daughter. That fear, they have exploited that fear for centuries, and it has made a handful of people trillions of dollars. It's big business behind fear and sexism and misogyny and hate. It's a grift, or as my grandfather would call it, it's a hustle. It's like a con. People are hustling you, they're conning you. It's a grift so they can get paid based on your fear and ignorance. Now, so pick up Clay's book. Make sure you check it out. And before I bring on my guest, to my Gen Zers who are watching me, if anyone ever tells you to do anything, to make a decision, or to support any person that's running for political office, or that's in office, or used to be in office, that will jeopardize your freedom and your money, you better look at them side-eyed, because in a lot of cases, that's a grift or hustle. Some of these same rappers say, oh, I'm voting for Donald Trump. Donald Trump, he pardoned me and I got out of jail. My boy, rapper so-and-so, he pardoned him. What y'all don't know is that's a hustle. It's a grift. They're not just endorsing them out the goodness of their heart, I guarantee you. Behind some of these hip-hop stars endorsing orange jumpsuit jackass Hitlers, I call them, oh, it's some money that's changed hands. It's the money that went from one routing number to another one, I guarantee you. Because at the end of the day, follow the money. The money will lead you to the truth, always, if you can get to it. I got to bring on my guest. Let me do one more thing. Shifting gears, happy birthday, Aquariuses, celebrating their birthday today, Olivia Pope. If you're a big fan of the TV show Scandal, Olivia Pope, 47 today. She's a brilliant actress. She was Ray Charles' wife. So Jamie Foxx played Ray Charles and Ray, and so she was Ray Charles' wife. She was Jamie's character's wife in Ray. She was in the movie The Last King of Scotland. She was in Django Unchained, and she was in the Fantastic Four movies. Kerry Washington, 47 today. Actor Glenn Turman. One time, that was Aretha's man. He was married to, rest in peace, to Aretha Franklin. Now, if you are a 70s movie fan, there's a classic cult movie for our culture called Cooley High. Story about some kids in high school in Chicago in the mid-70s. There was a character called Preach. Glenn Turman was Preach. And if you were a fan of the HBO show The Wire, and a whole lot of folks were, if you remember Mayor Royce, that's Glenn Turman. Also, one of my favorite TV shows, he was Colonel Bradford Taylor. Colonel Bradford Taylor, TV show, A Different World. He was 77, he is 77 today, and happy heavenly birthday to Jack Roosevelt Robinson, a.k.a. Jackie Robinson, the first black man to play in the major leagues. The first black baseball player in the major leagues. So he played in the National League, but he was the first black baseball player in either league. So you had American League and National League. So he was the first black baseball player in the major leagues. In 1947, played for the Brooklyn Dodgers. Born on this day in 1919, he joined the Ancestors in 1972. So, speaking of history and the truth, there's a big event, really our weekend, Gullah Harambee weekend. It'll deal with the truth. It will deal with history. And I'm going to bring them on camera because they were patient while I did my monologue / got on my soapbox and my rant. So I welcome Sharika Myers with Every One Voice Matters. She is the mastermind. She is the brain trust, her genius and compassion and sense of empathy and humanity that I was talking about earlier. She is the driving force behind that. And of course, speaking of compassion and humanity and empathy, family, not a friend of the show, family of the show and family of mine, Kendrick Al Bannister with the Crate Group. Welcome. So welcome back to the Geno Jones Show. How are we doing, family?
Hey, what's up? What's up, Geno?
I'm good. So I got it out of my system, Sharika. I went on my rant now, so I'll shut up and let you all talk. We got a big weekend. Tell everybody about Gullah Harambee 2024. What was the inspiration, and what is the weekend? What's the purpose for the weekend?
Well, definitely, man. Thank you for having us, guys. First, let me do some house cleaning, Geno. I got to give a shout out to you, man. So everything that happened during the gala, and we're still talking about the gala, but I got a phone call last week from my son that shared the stage with you. He co-hosted with you, and he officially said, "Dad, I'm going back to law school." So the power that was in that room, those conversations that you've been mentoring and talking to him about, thank you for doing that. Sometimes it's that extra drive and an extra push when somebody else sees something in you. So you are still inspiring a nation. So thank you for inspiring so many of my family personally.
Well, man, shout your son out, man. Forgive me, damn me. Shout him out, man.
Hey, DeAndre Bannister, he's the director of operations for the Crate Group. He lives in Atlanta. He got 2 small businesses going on. He's doing well. Just a good kid, man. 31 years old, just a good kid. And just wishing the best for him.
Well, he did a great job co-hosting the show with me because he was really in a bind because for a while, you all didn't know if I could make it. Like Satan was working overtime that Sunday, but I wasn't going to let him win. But he did a great job, and I wanted to make sure that everybody in that room knew that. I wanted them to hear that from me, so that's why I wanted to acknowledge him. So I'm just happy for him, and congratulations. So, but the heck with me. I didn't bring y'all on to talk about me. Let's talk about Gullah Harambee 2024. The inspiration, what's the purpose for the weekend, and just give us some details in general.
All right, so Gullah Harambee is something that the Crate Group came up with, and we're partnering with some major hitters, Ms. Myers for one. So what Gullah Harambee means togetherness. And what the Crate Group is seeing in our community is, just imagine if we all just get together and work on something together and do things together. We have to get out of each other's way and help each other. So if, like, for example, with Ms. Myers, she's in that reading literacy part thing. So my job is to continue with my platform and help her wheel keep rolling. And that's what we got to do. We got to find everybody's perfect niche and just grow and love on it. So what we're going to do with Gullah Harambee is a 2-day event, and it's actually going to end at the end of the month at Jenkins Institute. But right now, we're just promoting the first 2 days. It's going to be as big as Sabledo. Governor McMaster actually sent someone down Friday from the governor's office, and we talked about it, the economical advantages of what this can do. In the next 2 to 3 years, it's going to be big. So you said something in your monologue that hits. My question to everybody, Tell me what other culture has a month of history. Tell me when White American History Month is. I'll wait. So Black American history is American history. We need to change the narrative. We need to change the concept. We need to change our mindset and understand that we are 365 days a year. And they're not teaching that. All they're teaching in schools right now is Martin March, Rosa Set. But this weekend in Gullah Harambee, we're bringing something special to the table. And it's going to go along with the Jackie Robinson story. So what we're doing on Friday night, we have a dinner and conversation with Dr. Crawford out of Claflin University. It's sold out, no more tickets. But Dr. Crawford and Claflin just got $1.5 million to preserve the Gullah Geechee heritage.
Wonderful.
And then, so after that, at 7:30, we're going to open the doors. We have the Claflin Concert Choir, which is nationally syndicated. They're worldwide. We have a wonderful singer called Ashley Hill. She's mind-blowing. And then we have a praise and worship team that all the Low Country knows. It was New Ashley's Baptist Church, a former praise and worship team. And during the COVID, church hurt is going on. So now as of Friday night, they're the Crate Ensemble.
Wow.
I'm just taking it. I'm loving it. Congrats. So it's Tina Barnes, Keisha Middleton, Natasha Green Pooser, Don Richburg, and Vonnie. Let me tell you something. You don't want to miss this. You don't want to miss it. They're songbirds. So, and here's the craziest thing, Geno. Everything's free. The whole night is free. All you got to do is come. The Crate Group is also doing this. The church or the organization with the most people, we're going to give a love offering back to their youth department.
Wow.
All you got to do is come. So then we're going to
let everybody know where this event is Friday. Let everybody know where to go.
So for the whole weekend, everything's at the Hilton Garden Inn, 406 Sigma Drive. Beautiful establishment, first class everything, superb.
And that's in the Charleston Metro. Let them know exactly where it's at, but you can type that address into your navigation.
406 Sigma Drive, the Hilton Garden Inn, Somerville, South Carolina, in that Nexton area. Beautiful place, man. So I want to give a shout out to the Hilton for sponsoring and helping us with the things that we're doing in our community. And we also have vendors. We have 24 vendors that's going to be out there on Friday and Saturday, just highlighting their businesses and giving out information. And then we're going to matriculate into Saturday. Doors will open at 10 o'clock. We have African dancers who are going to welcome you in, and the drummers in Swahili saying welcome.
Wow.
So we're going to give you that true African love, straight up agape love coming straight through the doors. We're going to the main hall, and all day from 10 to 4, we have people on the main stage doing poetry, Geechee storytelling. We have a national artist coming out of Savannah, Sabree. She owns Sabree Gullah Art. We have Jennifer Singleton. She's a fifth generation sweetgrass maker and a storyteller. But then also at 3 o'clock, let's go to the baseball thing. There's a story that so many people don't know. The 1955 Cannon Street YMCA baseball team. That was the all-star team. So they beat everybody in South Carolina. They went up to upstate, beat the first couple white teams, and all of a sudden, we're not gonna play the black guys no more.
And these were kids. This was like the little leagues, like they have the Little League World Series now.
Correct. 11, 12, and 13-year-olds. So anyway, all these years, they never got the chance to play in that World Series, so they just do. Well, I reached out to them. I found them. So there's 8 more of them still remaining living. I want to say 6 is going to be with attendance with us, plus family members. The coaches that's already transitioned, their family's going to be with us on Saturday. And reached out to the State Department. So I reached out to the senators and the congressmen and everybody. So we're giving them a state resolution. So that's history being made on this Saturday. So if you don't do anything else, it's going to be a part of history. Come be a part of history. And guess what? It's free. Come on out and it's free. So matter of fact, Sharika, Lil Herbie's going to be there. We
Yeah.
partnered with Lil Herbie, so Lil Herbie's going to be there. So come and see Lil Herbie. Tell them about Lil Herbie, Sharika. Talk to me.
Well, first, let me say it's an honor and a privilege to be on here with both of you. You know, Geno, he's a big superstar. You know, Geno Jones.
I paid her big money to tell y'all that lie. So.
But honestly, it was a privilege when Kendrick Bannister actually reached out to me, and then when we got to talking, we realized that we had a lot of things in common. I mean, our hearts is basically strictly for the kids, strictly for empowering, educating, and uplifting our youth. So when he asked me to about joining him, and I was like, there's no way I could say no. I mean, because everything that the crates stand for is what everyone voice matters at what everyone voice matters actually stand for. And again, that's empowering, uplifting, and educating our youth. So it's an honor to even play a part in this event that's taking place on Friday and Saturday. And I mean, and we urge everybody to actually come out and be a part of history being made.
Now, Sharika, you've been doing great work in the community for a minute, and I've watched you from the inception of your organization. So, Brother Kendrick, if you don't mind, I just want to take some time right now. Sharika, I want to use this platform to elevate and uplift and shine a spotlight on the work that you've been doing, because you put in a lot of work. Your organization, you all spend a lot of money every year having events, giving back to the community. Kids get free everything from clothes to haircuts. So if you don't mind, I want you just to speak to your organization, explain to everybody what Every One Voice Matters is, and if you don't mind, share the story about how this organization came to, the story behind Every One Voice Matters.
Okay, well, Every One Voice Matters is a nonprofit that is geared towards helping at-risk youth and families tackle different barriers that hinders them from becoming the best version of themselves. And I started Every One Voice Matters because I grew up with a speech impediment. It was for years. I mean, I couldn't say one word. I mean, two words. And it took me so long to be able to speak my truth, actually. And when I learned how to speak at a normal pace, which is through reading out loud over the years, like, for example, I never forget when I was in middle school and people actually knew me for fighting. I was getting into a lot of fights, but they never knew why. It was because I couldn't really argue with people. But we had this project that everybody in my class had to do it, and that was going to the office to read the announcements. And every time it came my turn to actually read the announcements, I wouldn't go to school. But one day I actually had to. I mean, when I got to school, I had to go and read the announcements because if I didn't, I would have failed the class. When I got to the office, it was this long list that they wanted me to read. Now, keep in mind, I had my siblings and my best friend used to actually speak for me, right? So nobody really knew how bad I stuttered because everybody else spoke for me. But when they gave me this list of announcements to actually read, I got over the loudspeaker, and the only thing I could say was "Good morning, my name is Sharika," and that took me so long. I mean, I was embarrassed because at that point, I knew that the entire school heard me. I went home and I had this teacher named Miss Qualls. People know her as Myra Thompson. She was one of the Emmanuel Nine, and she was my English teacher at this time. And when I was in her class, she always used to tell me, Sharika, practice reading out loud, practice reading out loud. But I never did it because I was like, I actually hated to hear my own voice. So I never did it. But that day I went home and my sisters and my brother, they was all outside. And actually I could remember I actually heard Miss Paul's voice in my head saying, Sharika, read out loud. So I began to practice reading out loud day after day. Nobody knew I was doing it for years. And then when I did start to speak, I started to sound like a robot. I was like, hey, how you doing? Because I used to actually pace my words until I was able to speak at a normal pace. But when I healed the outside for years, the inside of me stayed broken.
Mm.
It don't matter. Everything I did, I always did at the bare minimum. But I was always the person in the back. That's why I do it so well now. I'm always cheering people on. I'm always pushing them. But
Yes, you
me,
are.
I just wanted to stay in the back. I just wanted to stay in the back because even though I was speaking at a normal pace, and my mind being at when you're a kid and you're laughed at and teased for so long,
Mm.
that actually stays with you. So as I grew, I always thought, even though people probably wasn't, but I always thought that people was laughing at me. So I just went through life doing the bare minimum. And we know when we have kids, we always pray that our kids don't go through the same things we went through.
Yes.
I gave birth to two kids, and neither one of my kids stunted. But fast forward in life, I had my first grandson, and his name is Lil Herb. And roughly when he got about 5 years old, I noticed that he do the same thing I used to do. I had this thing where I would tap on my legs and I would open up my mouth, nothing would come out, and I used to blink my eyes.
Mm.
So one day he said he was trying to say something. He was like, Granny, I can't say it. And when he said it, I really felt like I was looking in the mirror at myself because at that moment, I'm in my 30s. I knew exactly how he felt. So
Mm.
I said, yes, you can. Slow down, take your time. So when he finished, I said, listen, don't ever say that you can't do anything. But I walked off in my room and I just started crying. I started crying. But it was at that moment I was saying, how can I tell my 5-year-old grandson that he can do all things and me, I'm just still hiding within and still going through life doing the bare minimum.
Wow.
After that, I went back to school. I got my degree, and that's when I formed Everyone Voice Matters.
Wow.
That's how Everyone Voice Matters was actually born.
Wow. That is that story is hard to. I mean, what do you say behind that? It's just.
Yeah.
I mean, I listen. I appreciate you willing to share that story, to share that much about your own personal story, having the courage to just give us
Well,
in full detail exactly what you had to overcome. I mean, just sharing that publicly takes a lot of courage right there.
yeah. Well, when you're dealing with kids, and then that's why when I started, I have this thing where I always say, when you can relate, you can create.
Yeah.
That's why it was so easy for me. I thought about and other than that, I grew up in a single family household. We didn't have all the things that other kids had. I mean, sometimes we had to do without. We had lights out. We barely had place. I mean, all of those different challenges that I actually grew up with. And so I said, I never want a child to actually hide within
Mm-hmm.
like like I was doing. And I said I want to start creating things for youth, mainly at-risk youth, mainly kids that look like me and came from similar, backgrounds as myself. I say I want to create products, initiatives, do community outreach, for those kids to actually see that if I can do it, they can do it. And that's when the Lil Herbie series actually born. I named it after my grandson, but the real Lil Herbie is the child that been inside of me for so long and been
Wow.
fighting to get out, been fighting to get out. So that's how once I finally birthed him, I just started creating. Oh, I said I wrote. I started my Lil Herbie children's book series, which is geared towards social emotional learning. People don't realize that my book series, even though the main character is a boy and named Lil Herbie, but my book series is about my life. Herbie's new home. Herbie goes to school. Herbie's new friend. I talk about my life through my children's book series.
So let
So
me
and
stop you
then
right there, Sharika, so you can tell everybody where they can go and they can order the entire series. Like my mother bought me two sets of encyclopedias. They can order your, I'm gonna call them encyclopedias about Lil Herbie.
they can actually visit my website, which is everyonevoicematters.org. They can go there and they can view everything that Lil Herbie has, including the animated series. When I started my YouTube series, actually it was me and Chef. the radio, the radio, we started at my front room table, just doing programs that, I want to do something where so that I can reach the families. But when we started doing it, I was reaching the parents, but I wasn't reaching the kids. So I said, you know what I did was I created an animated series. And I said, I want to create a series that whereas though that my series would teach kids. So within my animated series, I have videos that's geared towards social emotional learning, diversity, equity, inclusion, financial literacy, anti-bullying. I just started creating different words of the day. I started creating different programs that kids can actually learn from, rather they in or outside of classroom. I wanted a free platform because not everybody have the money, not parents have the money to actually buy their kids these different initiatives. So I want to create a free platform so kids can go on and learn about skills that they can use both in and outside the classroom. Then I said, okay, what else can I do? I became a certified life coach. I became a certified youth coach. I became a certified family coach. I just wanted to create all these different things where so that I can use to empower families. And like Geno said, my community events, engaging with the people, with families, is what I love to do. I know how hard it is because I watched my mother go through it during school time. She didn't have the money to supply for all five of her kids. I know the challenges. So Gino tell you every year for the last 6 years, we have our Everyone Voice Matters Back to School event. That's when we give away 1,000 book bags filled with school supplies, 200 new sneakers, 200 new uniforms. E3 comes out and do a academic assessments. We have like game trucks, skating ring. Even one year, I brung down that girl Lele because in with my events, I don't want to just give out things. I want to have tools there that parents can use. So I invite other vendors, but also some of the kids that I work with, their parents don't have the money to take them someplace over the summer. So every year I try to create an experience so that every child can have something to talk about when they go back to school. So that's why I do my back to school event Christmas. We do our Christmas coat and bike. Now the mayor, we teamed up. Then when he was the chief of police, we do the Christmas at City Hall. Last 6 years, we do over 700 coats, 150 bikes, over 300 toys, and we have the same setup, different resources set up out there. So community engagement is what I love. So when Mr. Bannister reached out, and like I said, his organization have been around longer than mine, but he is doing great things. So when he reached out, anything that I can do to help empower kids, empower families, I'm all for it.
So give everybody that website address. Now, also, a part two of the question: are any of your books and other materials, are they in any bookstores, maybe some black-owned bookstores, or is everything
Oh
online?
yes, yes. My books are in Walmart, Amazon, Barnes and Nobles,
Great.
all of those where you can purchase books from. You can find the Lower Herbie series, but
Great.
you can also go on my website at every the number one voicematters.org. And we have a special treat coming out for Black History Month for the kids. So I don't want to put that out because it's not coming out till the 7th. But y'all gonna really like this. It's
Uh,
gonna really empower our youth
Well, that
and
means
our
you need to
people.
come back on the 7th so we can make this announcement right here on the show.
Yes.
So, absolutely. Kendrick, let me thank you for being the model of we always talk about supporting each other, pouring into each other, uh, leaning into each other, lifting each other up, uh, doing everything we can to empower each other so we all can win because we all can win. But a lot of folks talk a good game, but not everybody lives it. What you have displayed tonight is an example. You have shared the platform to promote your event, and you have given just as much time, if not more, to allow Sharika to really let everybody know, to tell her story because I was somewhat familiar with it, and it's an incredible story. It took everything I had to not stand here and start crying like a baby because it just, uh, it touches your humanity. We all have a story, and to hear that story and the courage, you know, as a child, the fear and how you turn that pain into power. And not just power for yourself. You are using that power as a vessel. You are the vessel to be a blessing to other kids that look like you and even don't look like you, but had a similar background. So the fact that you were so willing to generously share that platform, Brother Al, I'm giving you your props right here on camera.
Thank you.
So Geno, I got three things before I'm finished up in there. First of all, Ms. Myers, I appreciate you, man. When I tell you that from my platform or whatever I have, I just want to help the wheel keep going. You know, you already got it, and we're going to do some major things in the near future. Two things that we got, Geno, going on right now. So we have a band, a live band, the Legacy Band, coming up that Saturday night. All things Friday are free. All things Saturday morning is free. That is 85% of this whole weekend is free to the public. Come out, public. You won't be disappointed. But then Saturday night from 7 until we have the Legacy Band with the DJ Jabori, and it's gonna be a party. But we're having a party for a purpose. So right now, from now until Saturday, you can get your tickets for $45. And what's going to happen is out of that $45, we're going to buy a book, a Little Herbie book. And next month is literacy month for the whole month. So we're going to hit all the low country. We're going to hit Berkeley, Charleston, and Dorchester counties. That's Dorchester 2 and 4. And Little Herbie and these books are going to go to these schools and hand out these books to these kids. So, you know, like when you buy your book, when you buy your series, you're going to get 3 books, and it's going to have your name from Geno Jones. Some kids, some place is going to get that book, and they're going to know that somebody named Geno Jones cared enough to give them that book. Because as we all know, when I was a little boy, I thought I was Mark Twain. You couldn't tell me I didn't live on the Mississippi River. I stayed in my book because it took me away from the sorrows of my everyday life. I was on the Mississippi River all my life. So I want to thank Sharika for bridging that gap with me and us collectively collaborating so that we can do the best for our children. So, and if you want to purchase a book, purchase a ticket for this year, it's at Al, or Cash App Al, Kendrick Bannister. You'll get a receipt as soon as it's done, and that book will be with your name in it. And the other part is going into next month. Sharika and we're going to get with some Black-owned bookstores, and we're going to push this thing the whole month of February, and we'll be back again because I know what she has to tell you in February, and it's going to be amazing. It's amazing what she's got coming up next. Lastly, two more things, and then lastly. So lastly, I just want to say thank you for the platform. Black media is essential. No one can tell our story but us. And tell it
right. Because there's a lot of folks claim they telling our story, but they lying and they playing in our face and playing with us and gaslighting us and just distorting, telling their version of our story, and nobody can tell. I don't care who you are. I always say nobody can tell your story better than you.
So this is what I want to do right here. I'm going to challenge all my cohorts and my business partners. Everybody that I do business with in any form or fashion, I want to make sure you guys reach out to me and talk to me because we need to amplify this broadcast. And when we do that, then we can get more notoriety out there the right way and the correct way. So that's my ploy. That's my thing to everybody. It's a challenge. I'm daring everybody to get in touch with me and let's make this show grow. From that point, lastly, I must say, big shout out to my wife who allows me to do this. My kindergarten girlfriend, Alice, hey, much love to you. I thank you for always having my back. She's my devil's advocate, but I promise you, she stand 10 toes down with me. So
thank you, Ms. Bannister.
Yes, thank you, Queen. Listen, he got lucky like I did. He outkicked his coverage Because, you know, I got a shout out to a Damaris. She's put up with my ass for damn near virtually 30 years, really. So,
Well, I have to shout out my husband.
yes, do that.
So we all time. So all three of us better be sending shout outs.
Yeah, but no, I mean, Al, you're so right about what you just said, man, and just, you know, but hey, this ain't even about me, but yes, I just dealing with me. You know, if one day Sharika, you met Damaris, y'all can sit around with a bottle of champagne like they did and waiting to exhale, because she could be like, girl, his ass. So I know. Listen, it's only divine intervention and my mother's prayers who's watching me that kept me, to save me from myself from screwing it up. So, but listen, Kendrick, hey brother, listen, man, I appreciate you, but when I started this show 3, this TV show, and just use YouTube as a platform, this is part of a bigger vision. I started, the only person to watch me in October of 2020. We're right in the heart of the pandemic, just started that year. And when I started in October, I had one person watching me, and she's watching me right now, and that was my mother. I had like one subscriber and one viewer, and that was my mom. But now the show has grown, you know, well over 500 subscribers. And I'm not making this about me, but the point that I'm trying to make is that I have created content for other people who don't look like us in media, this not black-owned media, for 3 decades plus. So I decided, why don't I do this? Why don't I take the skills and talent that I've developed and help make money for other people, and, you know, distort our story or don't let me speak the full truth to power? I needed to create my own media company, and I needed to create my own show. And that's why I do it. I use humor and entertainment and my quote-unquote celebrity guests. That's like the candy to get people to tune in. But then I hit them the first thing with the monologue where I can speak truth to power. Because we're living in a time right now. We live in a very precarious, potentially dangerous time. And we got people that, to hell with telling our story. They don't even want our story told. You know, it's funny, we were just talking about books, and it's amazing, and I didn't know specifically, Sharika, that you were going to tie in, and then, Al, what you talked about with books. But that's why I said it's so important. Nobody can tell our story and teach our history to our young people, our kids and grandkids and nieces and nephews and just the community in general, because DNA don't make you a parent. When I see any child, I see my 2 daughters, who are both adults now. But if I see a 10-year-old girl or boy, the dad in me comes out. I want to, you know, do whatever I can to protect that child, to encourage that child, to uplift that child, to be the wind beneath their wings, and to get them to bet on themselves and believe in themselves. Because I was blessed, and I'm still blessed to have my mother, who was the wind and still is the wind beneath my wings, who is cocky and arrogant as I can be on stage and in front of a microphone and a camera. There was a time she believed in me more than I believed in myself. And that empowered me to be able to go on and to do things like I'm doing now. So it's so important, but she made sure that I had a library at home. She bought me those encyclopedias where Sharika, I'll remember, there was a man, she bought them on installment. And the little man, it was a little short Jewish man, I think Mr. Nathan, he would come to the house every month. And he was a friendly guy, and she would give him that money for those encyclopedias. Not once, but twice. Because then when she bought the World Book, and then she bought the Encyclopedia Britannicas. And here it comes, you know, every month she made those payments to make sure that I had books at home to where I could learn and read. So, and just look at your story, how reading changed your life, Sharika.
It did. Yes, it did. Reading changed my life. You know, I always tell kids, reading is that's a powerful tool. That's a tool that nobody can take away from you. And you can use that one tool to empower you for the rest of your life. When you can read something, you is empowering yourself. So reading is a tool that I push all the time, every day, especially the kids, because hey, that's something that nobody can take away from you.
And Kendrick, it allowed you to see yourself in a fictional character that didn't look nothing
Yes.
like you, but it allowed you to expand your imagination and horizons. And you were like, well, dang, if he could do that, heck, I can do it too.
Yes.
You're
Yeah.
right. You're right. You're right. And Geno, I do want to leave your viewers and your listeners with something that has transcended my life in the last 2 weeks. I've had the pleasure of communicating with John Rivers. John Rivers was 11 going on 12 in 1955. So Saturday we was talking about 2 hours and just having a great conversation. And I asked him, I said, so let me set the stage. Rosa Parks set the early summer of 1955. The baseball team went through the late summer of 1955, and then it was Emmett Till that got gruesomely murdered. So I asked John on last Saturday, John Rivers, he's 81 years old now. I said, Mr. Rivers, can I ask you a question? He said, yes, sir. I said, can you tell me, I want to know how you felt, what was your emotional status when you heard of Emmett Till? And he paused, maybe about 3-4 seconds. And I want the viewers to know that pause meant something. And then he spoke again. And the verbiage that he said from that point, I can hear the physical trouble it took for him to verbalize his emotions. I can hear the anger. I can hear the pain. I could hear every verb that's out there. I could hear it in his voice. And what I'm saying to the viewers, and I'm saying to anyone that is going to hear this years down the line, it's not the trauma that affects us. It's the amount of time that we take to fix that trauma. 68 years later, he's a very versed, he's an architect. He graduated from Hampton University, educated. I mean, if you talk to him, you think he's 22. But 81 years old, that moment took him back to a very vulnerable state. And he said to me, he said, Mr. Bannister, it got to a point where it was scared to even walk on the sidewalk now, because if we walk on the sidewalk and a white woman was coming, we could die. And the parent coming from his 81-year-old voice, you can hear him being 11 years old again. So what I'm saying to people, go vote now. Go, your vote will be heard. Go do what you got to do. Right now, South Carolina is on we on the chopping blocks right now. We got to make a president of what's happening. Go vote. Do what you got to do.
And it's a primary February 3rd. Finish your thought, because I didn't know you were going there, but it's a great way to close this show. Go finish your thought, Kendrick.
All I'm saying, if not for yourself, not for your family, not for the Crate Group, not for Lil Herbie, not for Geno Jones, go vote for Mr. John Rivers of the 1955 Cannon YMCA Street Youth Baseball Team. That's it.
And for my Gen Zers, my younger brothers and sisters, 18 to like 26, and even for the millennials, do it for people like Brother John, who is still dealing with the trauma. And like you made a great point, is the trauma is one thing, but it's like so much trauma, and it builds up and it's unaddressed. It's the healing. He still hadn't healed from that. So, but for my young brothers and sisters, I say it all the time. I beat it like a drum. Y'all can turn me out, tune me out. You can tune me out, but I know you're going to hear my voice. February 3rd, you're not voting. Really, you're not voting for me or Kendrick or Sharika. You're voting for your freedom, or allowing people to vote who want to oppress you. And don't let anybody cause you. I don't care I don't care who the rapper is. I don't care who the comedian, the entertainer. I don't care who it is. I don't even care if it's a family member. I don't care if it's me. If I come on here talking crazy, telling you to make a decision and to support a person or an ideology that is going to take away your freedom and your money and possibly your life, or create a climate to where people could snatch you out of your uncle or auntie's house and you could lose your life, like what happened to Emmett Till, and you not voting will allow that climate to recreate itself by law again, legally, like we had Jim Crow laws in 1955, where you had people with that ideology who killed Emmett Till because they knew no one was going to hold them accountable. Nobody. So don't let anybody tell you, oh, you know, they cool and this didn't stimmy check, when they were not the ones that got you the stimmy check. I don't give a damn how big they signed a check with a Sharpie like a little 4-year-old scratching up somebody's wall. Don't let anybody cause you to make a decision to cause you to lose your freedom, your money, and your life. Because it's a choice between your freedom and your oppression. And I promise you, there is a whole segment there. There are people with plans in writing, in a PDF you could download right now. Just Google Project 2025. There are people that's not excited, not happy with seeing people that look like you selling out football stadiums and being one of the most popular entertainers. Weren't happy seeing a black man become the president of the United States. And then when you have politicians from this state saying that, well, you know, when President Obama, he really just kind of pushed us apart. He didn't push us apart. His presence pushed some people apart because they couldn't envision seeing a black man in a position of power. Why do you think Vice President Kamala Harris gets so much pushback? Even one of these politicians here in this state said that. Oh, well, you know, if you vote for Joe Biden, it's a vote for Kamala Harris. Like, that would be so bad. And then when it comes from a woman of color, you got to understand this ideology. It's poisoned all of us. You have black people, all skin folk and kinfolk, that engage in anti-blackness is virulent and strong as the most racist white nationalists with a Confederate flag and a cape and a hood. So please understand, this is about your freedom or your oppression. It is that simple. It ain't a personality contest. It ain't nothing. It ain't, you know, I'm this party or that party. It's way deeper than that. And if anybody tells you, I don't care how much they look like you, I don't care how many times you downloaded their music or went to see their concert or laughed at their jokes or watched them on social media, if they're telling you to make a decision that's going to jeopardize your freedom and your money and your life, don't mess with them. I didn't mean to hold you all through that, man. I didn't plan that, but you tapped into something. I mean, it is so important, and it all ties back to reading and knowing the truth. Because when we know the truth, we know a con when we see it. We know grift. We know, like my brother Clay Kane's got this book, The Grift, which is, my grandfather had a term. You know, we all 85% of all of our ancestors came through this port right here in Charleston, South Carolina. And my grandfather had a term of hustle. He knew a hustle just meant somebody was trying to con him and get him to part with his money. At the end of the day, follow the money. Sharika Myers, every one voice matters. Man, I love you. God bless you. You are doing God's work. You have a permanent home on this platform. You already knew that, but I'm just telling you on camera. So when you get ready for your big announcement in about a week, I'll see you back here on the show.
Yes.
You'll do this.
Yes.
And of course, Kendrick, he might be one of the damn co-hosts. So he knows I got to generate enough revenue so I'm going to have to cut him a check and put him on salary and give him benefits and all that. So, Kendrick, thank you, man. God bless you. It's a big weekend, and then you got the big event Saturday night. So Friday and Saturday, 85% of this whole weekend is free, but get your tickets, but it's for a great cause because it's going to empower some child who may not even have a book. They can start their own library, or their parents can start their own library, because it could be a child like Sharika at 5, and that one book could change that child's life, like books did for Sharika and for Kendrick and for myself. So let everybody know where they can get the information. More important, where they can purchase these tickets so they can be part of the solution and put a book in some child's hand, Kendrick.
All right, the venue. Let me do it this way here. So we have tumblers, we have coffee cups, we have marketing and advertising. We ready to go. Gullah Harambee 2024. So the venue is the Hilton Garden Inn. It's in Nexton. It's 46 Sigma Drive, Somerville, South Carolina. Pretty much everything's free. Only thing that's out now is the actual concert on Saturday night. We can drop the tickets down to $45. You can get your ticket at Cash App Al Kendrick Bannister. We at the last minute, so that's where we're going. That's the way we're going with this here. Or if you want to come in the day of, it's $60, and you can pay at the door. But it's gonna be a live band, live DJ. I mean, we about to party with a purpose. It's legacy band. I mean, we're doing 60s, 70s, 80s. Now, if you're looking to do some rap music and all that stuff, this is not for you.
Not for you.
So this ain't the trap party, kids. So
No,
come on and
no.
do it with the grown folks, and then you can hit the after party and go to the trap house music party.
So, and then, hey, Geno, let me throw this out here. So we're gonna have Hollywood, your boy Hollywood. We're gonna have the mobile cigar unit on the outside of the hotel.
Oh, great.
With a breeze break going there, because also what I want to do with him is promote and just educate people. A cigar is not the nasty stuff. Period. We have to know what we're doing and know what we're doing from that standpoint. I golf a little bit. I smoke a cigar when I golf. I mean, so Hollywood, so myself in Hollywood, that's our Lux Cigar Lounge.
Yes, mobile
So
lounge,
that's the name
cigar
of his,
like a mobile cigar bar. Yes. Mm-hmm.
So, and I want to give a shout out to Hollywood because he has a business in Charlotte doing taxes. He's leaving his business to come down for the Gullah Harambee. So, and that's much love to come down and support. So I definitely got to give a shout out to him and his crew. So, no, thank you, and thank you again, man.
Well,
Sharika,
Thank you.
my twin.
Yep. We call each other twins now, Geno.
Why not? You know, if I
That's
stay,
right.
look, if I just get back in the sun a little longer, we could be triplets. So, you know, I fade in the wintertime. That's why I try to soak up every ray of sunshine I can. Sharika Myers, Everyone Voice Matters. Please support the sister. Check her out. There's Everyone, the number Voice Matters. Is it .org?
.org.
And the Crate Group, thecrategroup.org.
.org.
All right. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. You made my day. I've kept you all long enough. Go enjoy the rest of your evening, and I'll see everybody Saturday night. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Good night.
Man, what a powerful conversation. Thank you so much to Sharika once again, Sharika Myers. What an incredible story. Really just powerful sister. Just doing good work. And, of course, Brother Kendrick, Al Bannister doing great work. Hey, listen, thank you for letting me be a part of your life. As always, God bless each and every one of you. You and especially you, God, most of all. Thank you for letting me do the Geno Jones Show live Monday through Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. Subscribe and share, screen grab some of this show. Copy and paste the link, text it, tweet it out, screen grab it and put it up on Twitter, put it up on TikTok, on Twitter, or they call it X now, on Instagram, on Snapchat, on Facebook. Create a YouTube short right here. However you do it, I'm all good with it. Let's make it go viral. A powerful show with a very powerful conversation. Shout out to Mr. Markel Bailey, the official barber and hairstylist for the Geno Jones Show. He is the CEO of Designer Cuts here in the Charleston, South Carolina metro. Check him out on Instagram and his work. Kel be cutting up. KELBE CUTTINUP. Kel with a K. Be cutting, not with a G. Cutting up. And Allie Jones, The drip director, as I call her, the official wardrobe consultant and stylist for the Geno Jones Show. Check Allie and her collection. She is a fashion designer. Check her out and her collection. LX.N like Nanette, C like Charlie, L like Lexi, underscores LO dash at the end of those letters on Instagram. LX.NCL underscore the end of those letters. The next live edition of the Geno Jones Show is going to be Thursday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. If you missed some of the episode, go back and watch it. Once again, screen grab some of this show. Some great conversation, some great clips. Make it go viral. Thanks for watching, everybody. I love you. Thank you for everybody, all the conversation in the chat room, my mom and everybody else. We'll see you live. In the meantime, go back and binge watch this, any, and every episode of the Geno Jones Show right here on the Geno Jones Show YouTube channel. Holla!
Subscribe and tune in to the next episode of the Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube.